Well, that infamous day that a lot of people like myself thought we would never see, and a lot more were clapping like baby seals to come upon us, is officially here. What are my thoughts? Is MM2K distraught? Is he heartbroken? Is he selling all of his blood plasma to go live up in the mountains because he's so embarrassed? Let's talk about it. What actually happened with Stadia and why did it die? This is the medicine. Let's get into it. Yo, what is up, people? It is your boy MM2K of PNTS Network and currently of Stadia Dosage, back again with a special video. I ain't been on this channel in a long time, and I haven't used these overlays in a long time. So, you know, it's like dusting off the old bike and getting back on. I had to go fix some things because some things was out of date. But peace to everybody. I know y'all here. I know y'all are happy to gloat. I'm not running from nobody. I don't run, never ran, never will. I can't recite the song in totality from Little Duffel Bag Boy, but I never ran, never will. I'm here. Let's talk. I can't talk forever because I got to pick up my wife in about an hour and 15 minutes, but I'm here for that whole hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to be giving everybody my initial reactions to the big news. Well, first and foremost, to the big news that Stadia is dead. Stadia is officially dead. What? Yes, it has died. And I don't want to seem insensitive to my Stadians that are here, but I want to warn everybody, first and foremost, for my Stadia community members that are here, that are used to my content over on Stadia Dosage, this is not going to be PG. This is going to be unplugged MM2K. It's not saying that I'm going to go crazy or ham or that I'm angry or frustrated or anything like that. I'm very disappointed. We're going to get into all that. But this is not going to be a PG. This can't be a PG conversation, right? This just can't be. But for those that are members that are listening, that are used to sound off, like Geek to Sneak, I see you in there. I wish I would have set up my what's it called so I could shout you out. I might just do that anyway, so I can shout people out and read their comments and stuff. But peace and blessings to everybody that's in the chat. But for those of y'all that are familiar with how we do things on Sound Off, y'all get the drill. Y'all get the drill. So what I want to do right here is I want to answer three things, basically. Because, and believe you me, I see all of y'all, I see all of y'all troll comments on social media. Like, my phone has been blowing up like crazy. Like, I'm like, yo, because I was handling some other stuff. For those of y'all that, again, follow my content over on Stadia Dosage, I pre-told y'all there's some other business I'm handling with my homie. So that kind of spilled over into today. That's why y'all really ain't seen me yesterday and see me today. I'm sitting there doing that and my phone is just going crazy. Now there's a few things going on. There was to be, and I don't know if there's still going to be one. That's going to be up to John and company. Shout out to John Scar, my brother, my friend, and always my brother and my friend through all this, man. But John Scar was getting together an event called Carrying in the Clouds. And there was going to be a bunch of us content creators getting together and doing some good stuff, man. Some stuff for different charities or whatever. It was going to go through the whole weekend. I don't know if we're still going to do that. Then my homies over at Stadia Dosage, shout out to all of y'all. I don't want to miss anybody. Of course, my good brother, my partner over there, my PNC, my partner in crime, Jack just slipped. Hold on, let me make sure I'm shouting out everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second, because they've done some fantastic work. and through all this. Like, this was a bombshell. I'm going to explain the bombshell the best to my ability with all of the inside information that I have, because I will tell you this, as much as I am very disappointed, as much as I got some choice words for those that have made this decision, you know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be PG likely. Anybody that's out there that's claiming, I knew this. Here, put your ear up to the mic or to the speaker. Anybody that's like, I knew this was happening. Unless you was part of the board or you're Phil Harrison himself, you're a fucking lie. You're a fucking lie. Nobody, I'll start it off like this. I know we're doing a lot of fluff and I'm trying to get things together and something I'm supposed to add to the stream. But nobody saw this coming. Even the Stadia team didn't see this coming at all. Which, from all the inside information, I'll be checking it throughout the stream as long as I can. What happened was, this looks like it's tied to the recent activity at Google and them just making cuts across the board. Now, I've spoke otherwise to that, and I've said other people were overreacting to that, and apparently they weren't. So I got to address that. I got to stand here against the guillotine for that. But this actually came out of nowhere. This wasn't something that was planned. The company wasn't winding down Stadia, and since last year or whatever. From everything that I'm going through right now, through my contacts, through people that are on the front lines, literally. This is all in relation to the cuts that are coming at Google, the recent cuts that Sanjar, I believe, and I'm not mispronouncing his name on purpose. I know I can be a jackass sometimes, and I can do that. I'm not doing that here. But the CEO had mentioned that they wanted to make cuts across the board. This looks like, and again, this is initial reaction, initial data. I'm not saying with 100% certainty, but that's what it's looking like. There are some things that I'm going to share with you in regards to that to back up what I'm saying, but I can't say everything just yet, because again, there are relationships and things that are still held with the parent company, and I've known a bunch of shit, positive stuff. that's why again, the company, the sector was blindsided by this. I know about a bunch of positive shit that was coming, that was being funded for, and that was about to go into execution, that because of this, again, people were blindsided. People didn't know this was like at the top, highest levels decision. We'll get into all that. But again, for those that are Stadia supporters that are, miffed about this decision, I can't tell people how to feel. As you can see, I'm not losing my lunch. I'm not out in the corner throwing up somewhere. No! Because at the end of the day, it's video games. And like I've always told people, I wasn't here to get the highest click ratio, to do this, to do that. I've always been here to work with other people in a network setting and speak truth to fiction. You know what I'm saying? And try to have smarter conversations about gaming. This wasn't about me being the ultimate streamer or being the ultimate YouTuber. It was never about that. So I'm not distraught about that, even though I've seriously put my flag behind Stadia. We're going to get into all that. But again, for those of you that are overtly distraught about this, and I get it, people got stuff going on in their lives. I can dig it. It's a shame. And if you are upset, and even if you're mad or enraged about it, I'm not mad at you about that. As a matter of fact, you should at least be disappointed if you really like the platform. If you really supported the platform, you know what I'm saying, and you know, for those of us that have been in the community actively trying to help promote it and make people aware, spread awareness of it, I totally get it. You have a right to be angry. You have the right to be angry at this decision because you didn't deserve this decision, and really this decision did not have to happen. But again, we're not the people in charge. So we'll get into all that. Let me do something real quick because I do want to shout out your comments. We're not shying away from anything. This is going to be kind of like, I want to say an open mic, but I know there's going to be a lot of blowback, a lot of trolling, a lot of things that people have to say in the comments. And hold on one second. So let's do this. I've got y'all comments added. And let me see if I can add the green screen. Let's do that. And let me put this up here so we can have a conversation about everything that's going on. All right, we got that up there. What else we got up there? Hold on. There we go. All right. And now what I got to do. What is this? I'll just put H2R. H2R. Bad Hombre, I see you up in there, bro. And I ain't peeped you in a moment. So I got you. Hold on one second. Oh, oops. All right, that's wrong. Let's see if we can. Oh, hold on, what happened? No, this is not a folder. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Bear with me, because I haven't added stuff to a window capture. Bear with me. H2. There we go. Yeah, Bad Hombre. I see your punk ass. Motherfucker. I got you. Bad Hombre. Graphics, there we go, baby. All right, but bear with me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Just bear with the green screen. Bear with it for a second. We're gonna fix it. Just try and get some stuff in here. Filters. That's not it. Image man, chroma key. There we go, baby. There we go. All right, and let's see if we can get this working. All right. Here. Okay, how come it's not showing y'all social rundown? Connect. Oh, duh. You got it connected, bro. All right, I'm sorry, bear with me. Social. There we go. God damn. All right. Shout out to the homie, Shake Capo. There we go. He says, buckles up. We got Sean's Punkus. Hey, yo, hey, Geek. Hey, yo, bro. It's wild days. Heath Stevens, shout out to Heath. Long time no secret, but he said Google never cared. They just wanted to rent their services out. So Heath brings up an interesting point. And I get a lot of people are going to say that was the route from all along. So again, I'm going to break down in this conversation what essentially happened from the information that I have in front of me. Why I even got caught up in Stadia in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to share a lot of things that a lot of people are not aware of. And what now? Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do in my personal gaming selection, my content, and then what's going to happen to Stadia Dosage? You know, well, let's talk about it. All right. So, Heath, here's what happened with Google. When they came out the bat at first, they weren't trying to compete with Xbox and PlayStation. their problem was when people were making that assumption, they didn't curb stomp it right then and there. See, a lot of us have short-term memories. Go back to when the platform was launching. Like, I'll show you, let me see here. Because I got all the shit. I got all the data. Again, we don't have sloppy, unwise, stupid conversations here. We got all the facts and the data to prove what we're saying. Let me see. So what happened was, when Stadia first came out, people had the right information, but they overlooked it. They told you back in 2018, people had the right information that it was fully cloud gaming. It wasn't a hybrid like people thought it was going to be at launch, that it wasn't going to be a subscription service. It wasn't a Game Pass competitor, all that stuff. They just overlooked that shit and said, well, no, it's going to be a hybrid. This is what we want it to be, right? So as they were getting attention and people were speculating, I don't know if you remember a lot of the podcasts that we did back in the day, Heath, where we thought that it was going to be a subscription service and all that stuff. And I see my brother in here. Shout out to my brother Nethos. Nethos was one of the first people that I discovered that found out that it wasn't a subscription service and you had to purchase shit a la carte. So he came back to us and he was like, yo, this is not a Game Pass competitor. And then that's when the fallout began, is when people realized it wasn't a Game Pass competitor. And the thought of buying games on a cloud service like you would a console didn't sound as appealing to the mainstream gamer at that moment as a better Game Pass competitor. Because what you got to remember too is that back when Stadia was being announced, Game Pass wasn't the journalist darling that it is right now. You know what I'm saying? We had codes for Game Pass and we couldn't give this shit out. So that was the height of the frustration with Xbox at that moment. And people were like, the hell with this Game Pass, the hell with what Microsoft's doing. And then they hear Google is coming through and they're expecting, well, it only makes sense that Google's coming through if they're being a competitor to Game Pass, if they're going to be a better Game Pass, right? And they're doing this hybrid. And when they didn't say from the beginning, no, this is what we are, that just enraged people even more. I'm under the belief system that people would have been mad anyway, because a cloud platform that, for all intents and purposes, was being flashed by, wasn't being fully marketed to, but it was being flashed by the general gamer, wasn't an appealing proposal. Here's why I say it was being flashed by. Interview after interview that you guys never saw because people didn't facilitate that information. They wanted to just run with their narrative. Like, there's a big time interview that Phil Spencer has with Eurogamer, with Richard Ledbetter of Digital Foundry, where he tells them, we're not trying to compete with a console. We're doing something totally different. But what their expectation was, is as people, the way they were going to subsidize their efforts early was as people were looking to go and continue their gaming from their other console, that they would look and give Stadia a try. That's what they were looking for at first, the people to subsidize their gaming efforts. Just like GFN is looking for people to subsidize their gaming efforts, those that can't afford the 3090, so they drop the 3080 tier. Xbox is, well, if you, while you're away from your console, you can use this and use that. It's not really that, it's really not that big of a deal right now. They're looking to subsidize their efforts to build up on their cloud platforms because cloud is the way that they ultimately want to go as far as their major way to compete. Whether you agree with it or not, and to be honest, this right here strikes a blow to that effort. So for all of you that said, hey, cloud gaming sucks, it doesn't even work, Google isn't even sticking to it. They couldn't even see their plan B all the way through. I still believe in cloud gaming in the long term, but I can't argue with y'all overall over that argument point. This strikes a big blow to that. I don't necessarily think it should be something that people are happy about, but that's here nor there. We can only deal with the realities which are now, and the realities are that they didn't want to compete with Xbox or PlayStation, but the messaging wasn't on point, wasn't key enough. They did have a goal to where they wanted to reach 1 million active users by the end of 2020. And for a cloud platform, I want to show you guys something. Even for a cloud platform, by the end of 2020, that was no small feat. Let me show you guys something. You know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, that's not the full. Can we get the full MM2K? Can we get the goddamn full web thing up here? Where's it at? Video only. We ain't got the full web thing up here. All right. Well, this is an article from NASDAQ that you can see at the top, right? Let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay. And it says how cloud computing is changing the world of games and gaming. So it says, and all this is based off of projections by analysts, and the analyst projections have been right, by the way. And what Google thought they could do at first, at launch, is they didn't think they could do as well as a console, nowhere near as well as a console, but they thought they could overshoot those projections, and they were wrong. When you look at the projections for cloud gaming by the end of 2020, cloud gaming was only a 1% business. Gaming and projections. This is from NASDAQ. This ain't from Johnny and them's Chicken Shack. This is from NASDAQ analysts. And as someone who works with analysts, they don't just sit here, grab a Yeti and just spew off some stuff that they think. This stuff is heavily researched. So for any of you dumb motherfuckers out there that think that y'all know better than the analysts as far as what the projections are and why they're there, that's why I called you a bunch of dumb motherfuckers. So here's what it is. While cloud gaming is currently a minuscule part of video gaming, its scope could be huge. They give you some projections. They say today video gaming engages 2.8 billion people globally, and this number is expected to exceed 3 billion by 2023. And they give you a bunch of projections along with actual numbers that have already occurred. And when you look at the numbers, cloud gaming by the end of 2021, for instance, was projected to have a revenue of $1 billion. Well, cloud gaming actually was closer to 3 billion by the end of 2021. But that, when you break that down, that's only 1% or close to 1% of what the revenue was supposed to be for all of gaming by the end of 2021. Because all of gaming was supposed to be around 189 billion in revenues. So here's what happened. Stadia initially said, we want to be in this because we know long term, we merge our YouTube systems with our with our gaming platform. That's what they explained to Richard Ledbetter in the Eurogamer interview. We're going to be unstoppable. We're going to create something that cannot be mimicked, which I believe is true. But here's the problem. At the beginning, they felt like we can do this and we can overshoot these projections. We can be better than 1%. And expecting 1 million active users by the end of 2020 is well over 1%. Because when you look at consoles within that same time frame from launch to, within 14 months, them motherfuckers is at anywhere between seven? I think the numbers show anywhere between 7 million at the low end to close to 20 million on the high end. So they weren't trying to compete with consoles out of the box, but they were trying to overshoot the moon on where the gaming community was at. And foolishly, admittedly, because after all this information came out, for those of us that routinely follow the data, foolishly, they tried to do that without the proper advertisement, without the proper outreach, and a whole bunch of stuff. So they were failing miserably until when? Until that final month, that final 14th month, when Cyberpunk came out and Ubisoft Plus came out for the platform. When all that stuff came out, that's when they saw them get close to 2/3 of that goal. But that still was well short, and they weren't as close to the litmus that they held for the entire year. That was a problem because it's apparent that litmus of 1 million gamers, I would bet my right arm, is what they use to approach developers and say, look, our shit's gonna be at 1 million gamers by the end of the year, baby. Millions active users, by the end of 1 million, not just 1 million gamers. 1 million active users, that's different. 1 million they could have reached 1 million gamers that picked up the platform, tried it, and have either stayed with it or didn't stay with it. But 1 million active users are only the people that stayed with it. As they approach developers with that, developers likely said, okay, well, I mean, this is better than 1%. We'll send y'all some shit. You got to pay us. And if this continues, if you continue to grow on this trajectory, yeah, we'll support the platform. And there were reports earlier, which were true, that the Stadia platform wasn't the hardest to develop for out of the box, but it was too cumbersome for a cloud platform. To xCloud's credit, even though I do not like the output and just, I don't like it. And I don't think that it is a pillar cloud platform. To their credit, though, and to GFN's credit, and to Amazon Luna's credit, they said, look, we know cloud gaming is going to potentially allow for some dope shit to happen. But right now, it's just about getting these games. So we're going to make it to where we piggyback our cloud platforms solely off of dedicated devices. So the porting process is just a press of a button and bada boom, 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 boom. It's up on the platform. Stadia was different. You had to develop for it like you were developing for another PlayStation or Xbox. And okay, at first, if you're throwing me 20 million to do it with the promise of 1 million active users and that's going to steadily grow, that's something I'll indulge in. But after a while, or after 14 months, and you barely got there 2/3 of the way, just 1 month out of that 14 months, nah, you're gonna have to pay us more money, or no, we're done right now until you fix the porting process. So that's why they decided in 2021 to get rid of SG&E. They said, okay, now we got to fully pivot. We got to do what our competitors are doing in order to survive during these early years. In order to survive during these early years, we have to subsidize our platform with the games that people want to play, not our Stadia games and entertainment that people ain't buying. People weren't buying the shit. Nobody, all these Stadia games and entertainment efforts, nobody was buying. And then you had Jade Raymond herself that said you weren't going to see a big explosive Stadia games and entertainment title until 2014. She said 5 years out. She said that in 2019. She said, you're not going to see our Breath of the Wild game until 2024, essentially. It says 5 years. So that's 5 years of, if you're growing your player base year by year with the games that you do have in your SG&E games, okay, great. But if you're not getting any friction off of the shit that you're putting out there, we don't have 5 years to wait and keep investing in y'all, keep paying employees, keep opening satellite sites. So you guys got to go. And the pivot was strictly on converting the platform into something that can easily port games. And wonderfully, I'll be honest, from the stuff that I hear, wonderfully, within a year's time, 2 years' time, because they started this process early 2021, and they were supposed to have main deployment out for resources by the end of this year. And developers that I talked to, people close on the front lines, there was a slot of shit lined up to happen. And particularly, I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to wait till I get the queue for the close to be for the close the coast to be clear on this one, because again, I'm not fucking up anybody's relationships just to talk about video games. That's not me. I'm not Jason Schreier. It's not that important to me. It's a hobby. It's a hobby that I seriously put effort into because I want people to be informed, but it's still a hobby nonetheless. So I'm not going to fuck up anybody's professional career just so I can see CMG. This is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. But what I can tell you is that there was something on the horizon that was going to change the trajectory of Stadia being able to provide the games that you want on a major level. That's all I'm going to say. It was bananas. It was nuts. Wow. And that's why you had certain developers coming out on social media and saying, whoa, the shit that Stadia is showing us is great. Stadia was just at, they were at Tokyo Game Show. I believe they had some people at Tokyo Game Show, but they were definitely, at Gamescom, striking up new deals, working up new deals. Those are not the actions of people that are winding down. Again, this is a decision that came from the very top because of, essentially, from all the information I have so far, because of the budget cuts. When Sunjar came out and said we can be leaner across the board, a lot of us saw that and said, well, Stadia's pretty lean. Shit, they're not buying up every game out there. You know what I'm saying? That's why people are going back and forth and they're screaming bloody murder within the community. Because they're not sitting there investing in trying to get every game. So they should be lean and mean, and they're operating leanly, right? So they might experience some budget cuts, some things like that. That's what we said amongst ourselves, and we were wrong. When Sunjar made that statement, he was including all of Stadia, unfortunately. So again, I wanted to put those facts out there for those that sat there and said, I knew it was coming. I mean, if you were concerned when the CEO talked about making cuts, okay, I'll give you that. But any of the petty, silly shit that people were debating beforehand, no. Again, the team was pivoting on the platform what they realized the goal was. They were taking a much more humbler approach. They realized that they couldn't overshoot the projections, that they weren't going to be able to do that. So they said, okay, we got to then get these porting tools together and get them deployed and see what the reaction is to that. And unfortunately, the show was cut short before that even happened. And that's a problem. That's a problem because I saw the letter from Phil Harrison, which again, a lot of people rightfully so said, okay, well, here come this dude all of a sudden. We don't see this dude until something bad goes down. And again, look, I gotta take my darts. Y'all can aim at me, whatever. Say whatever y'all got to say. Throw the tomatoes and the cabbage on the stage because I'm the one that tried to defend Phil Harrison. I came up there and said, yo, this is the guy. He was, behind discovering Naughty Dog for Sony. This is that. I tried to defend Phil Harrison. And maybe he wasn't defendable. But here's what I can say. Again, I repeat, from being in the know, except for this, but for being in the know for a lot, we predicted the Stadia keynote and all the new investment tools into the low change porting. We're the ones that talked about that before Stadia even talked about it. Nobody else was. So we had built some pretty concrete relationships in early 2021 that really helped us be plugged into the majority of the stuff that was happening. So a lot of stuff that I knew that I just didn't talk about. And there's still stuff that I know that I can't talk to you about because, again, I'm not going to fracture relationships because of it. But here's what I will say. This while my son, my son is even trolling me. He's a GFN head. He loves GFN. This motherfucker, he keep calling me from school. Hey, look, goddammit. Look, mother, I was about to call you something live on air that I should. Look, go to school, do your work, leave me the hell alone. I'm out here trying to tap dance. No, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, as far as the decision that was made, again, it looks like. And when I say it looks like, I'm gonna put like right now from the information I'm getting, I'm gonna roll with 70% of the way. It looks like that this was tied into the overall company's budget initiative, for this quarter, for this fiscal quarter. They decided, you know what, we got to cut across the board, and we're just going, fuck it, we're just gonna cut Stadia. Fuck it. Not that Stadia was a drag on the company, but they just didn't want to divert any resources to it. And they've decided at that moment, while they were going over these budget cuts, okay, we just gonna go, we'll roll with immersive stream. That's how we're gonna get into gaming. We'll roll with immersive stream. Because at first they given the okay, and I've seen this before from a hiring and firing level. And again, I don't have to tap dance for Google. Google didn't pay me. They don't pay me. I love a lot of the people at Stadia that I talk to. I'm not 100% sure that everybody there felt the same way about me. Because when they did fuck up, I was the first one on the mic blasting them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 100% sure they felt the same about me, but there again, I'm disappointed, very disappointed. I'm concerned about the state of cloud gaming because you pretty much had the best all-around technology now fall flat on its face. So are we going to have the least promising technology as far as offerings now be the standard bearer? That was my concern. You know what I mean? And it looks like that may be the case. So I'm concerned for cloud gaming. GFN is cool. It can do a lot of things. But its convenience and the price point, which kind of are staples to cloud gamers, it's not a great fit. So we're GFN didn't really do it for the cloud gamer. When I say cloud gamer, I don't mean somebody that's like, oh, I can tinker with this and lay in my bed and play 30 minutes of Tales of Symphonia. No. The average cloud gamer solely or spends a large chunk of their gaming time cloud gaming. It's a specific demographic. Not people just fucking around for 5 or 10 minutes. Like the people, and the reason why I don't really, even if you do that, if you fuck around for a few moments in your bed or whatever, I'm not trying to, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I'm not trying to shit on how you game, but your contributions are minimal to the growth of cloud gaming, because the central part of cloud gaming, to get it where it needs to be, is the training of the AI and the machine learning. And if you're just fucking around for 5 minutes here and 30 minutes there, and you're really not, and shit gets fucked up, you don't take the surveys, or you're not really invested in it, and you're really not doing the things and reaching out to get involved in the improvement as cloud gaming platforms need you to be. Like if you're just doing tinkering, you're not really helping the growth. Like for instance, for xCloud, they were just getting tinkering hours until they did make that fantastic deal with Fortnite, Epic and Fortnite. Now they're getting concrete hours, longevity, continued hours consistently from people to help build the platform. There's something called cash pipelines that Stadia referenced to where a game drops on Monday, for instance, and it's cool, but you're like, this part is kind of glitchy, or, every time I get here and there's a lot of action, I feel a little lag or whatever. But by Wednesday, it's a lot smoother. And by Friday, it's gone. It's something called the cache pipelines. And without me totally fucking up how the process is explained, I urge everybody to look up cache pipelines, Stadia cache pipelines. They explain the process to where as you continuously play, the more and more that a player plays, the more it helps train the AI in the machine learning, and it bounces it back off of feedback from other players that continuously play, and it works out the hitches on its own and makes the playing experience better. That's why a lot of people, when they picked up Stadia and they played it, they were like, you know what? This thing could use a lot more games, but shit, I forget that I'm playing on the cloud. It feels native. So I just hope that Microsoft and everybody else that are in the field continue to build on cloud gaming. Not just the latency, but the convenience of it. Not just the technology, but the convenience of it. That's very key. And when I say convenience, on the Microsoft half, I mean, as it relates to Microsoft, just make it consistent. The performance should be consistent. I shouldn't play one game. I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is playable, but the majority of my experience is fucked up. For GFN, convenience. Work on me going through 85 UIs in order to get access to a game. Also, as great as the 3080 tier is, and I get GFN's approach to this, to where they may or may not do this. Try to come up with a more affordable model that has better performance. You know what I mean? So, but GFN, xCloud, Luna, when they expand, who else is out there? No, it really is GFN and xCloud right now. They're going to be the standard bearers. I want to show you guys something that you probably say, oh no, MM2K, shut the fuck up. Stadia was doing horrible. They were doing horrible all along, and this is why they shut it down. Can I show you guys something else? Can I show you Mensa candidates something else? Again, I listen because this is my field. I don't listen to the booger pickers on a grandma's couch. You know what I'm saying, with the latest issue of Housemaids Weekly and a bottle of lotion. I don't listen to you motherfuckers. I listen to the analysts. Here's what the analysts had to say. Give me a second. Let's put this up there on the board. All right. Oh, that's wrong. There we go. Open PR Worldwide Public Relations. This is like a big analyst digest of information. And when you look at cloud gaming in totality, as far as the projections, where they were going and saying, look, if they stay on this pace, they're going to be a major platform years down the road, maybe 10 years down the road. They'll be a major platform. Cloud gaming will be a major way to game years down the road, right? When you compare that to the actual top performing platforms, as I tell people all the time, get your dumb asses out of Google Trend, look at what was going on with the analysts and what they've been saying. And every analyst that you talk to, Newzoo, analysts that put reports out here, Google Stadia was always mentioned with the top performing cloud platforms. So as they were looking at the growth of cloud gaming and they were looking at the platforms that were supplementing that growth, Google Stadia was always up there. It's just what happened is that it's a long haul. It's a long haul with a short return at first. Cloud gaming is not projected. Here, let's go back to NASDAQ. Again, not Johnny and them's Chicken Shack. Let's go back to NASDAQ. Cloud gaming is not expected. In 2027, cloud gaming is expected to be at $7.24 billion by 2027. All of gaming is expected to be at $257 billion 2 years earlier by 2025. So what, 5 years from now, it's still going to be a 3% business. At least the margin is 3%. So it was a long haul. And the secret to success was finding out a way to best supplement that long haul, that short selling. And Google, because of cuts that they're making, just looked at Stadia and said, fuck it. It's not worth it. According to the information that I have, that I'm 70%, as far as me putting the dots together, 70% confident on and saying, they said, fuck it. We don't want to be in this part of the game anymore. We feel like that a more lucrative aspect of us getting into gaming is doing it behind the scenes. Because when you look at the letter that Phil Harrison put out there, the way that the letter is phrased, it looks they're going to keep immersive stream coming. And people will say, oh, I knew that. Shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. Because they were making investments, they were making moves. There was an expansion. And I know on good authority that the expansion for Stadia into Mexico. And I'm not going to mention the other country yet because only select people know. And if I say it, then it's going to give off who told me. And I'm not Jason Schreier. I don't need to be Jason Schreier of this shit. But this is what I can tell you solidly, that Stadia Retail was working with its partners to move forward for Stadia Retail to follow through. Investment and actions were already made in regards to this expansion. So sacrifices were already made, as in, well, before we were going to move forward with the expansion. And then all of a sudden, it got yanked. And it confused business partners. What the fuck happened? Why did this get yanked? That is a sure tell sign that they were looking to move forward with the pivot that I broke down from 2021. And with the recent announcement that they were doing budget cuts, they decided. Now, they didn't decide it yesterday, but it would have been decided. I want to say it would have been decided months ago. Likely would have been decided a couple of months ago. When the announcement was made about a few weeks ago, but I would say a month prior to that, they probably started executing the plan to dissolve the business sector. So, with that said, it sounds like that with these new cuts, they decided not to do it. They made the decision recently. They didn't make the decision last week, but it sounds like that they made the decision recently. I have on good authority, very good authority, that plans to move forward had already been invested. Things have already occurred. Significant things had already occurred. And then all of a sudden, boop, it just got cut off. Someone that has been part of the hiring and firing process of a Fortune 500 company, who's unfortunately had business sectors that were under me that I had to work with and see dissolved. I'm familiar with it's like, hey, look, we tried to create a budget globally that included this sector. We just can't do it. We have to include Stadia in our minds, which it ain't got nothing to do with content creation. I think is a very porous decision, because even if you feel that immersive stream is going to be the more lucrative function, which a lot of us felt that way, the more lucrative function under Stadia. What you don't do is you don't say, hey, look, you don't do this for two reasons. You don't say, hey, look, we're doing fine. We're doing okay. We were hoping to blow it out the water, but we didn't. And we fucked that up ourselves, but we're doing all right in consideration to our peers. And we understand that trying to grind this thing out in cloud gaming is going to take some time. And we've been a major proponent and talking about the use of cloud gaming and the needs of it and how we can relate to gamers and all this shit. You don't say that and then all of a sudden say, you know what, fuck it, it ain't worth it. You don't do that. two reasons. You don't do that for reason number one, because it is going to have an impact on cloud gaming. It's going to have a very negative impact on cloud gaming. Once all the data comes out and all these smoke and mirrors about all the bullshit that people were saying that they knew about Stadia and Snap, but once the real stuff, like, they get exposed and they do come across the Richard Ledbetter interviews and they do an analysis. Once people do that, they're going to say, oh, yeah, they were changing their business plan, and oh, they did get leaner and meaner, and oh, they could have stayed in this. Why didn't they? Watch. They're going to say that after the fact. Now that it's dead, now that everybody media-wise or conjecturally got what they wanted, now they're gonna look back on it. Oh, this could have stayed. Damn you, Google. What's wrong with you guys? They could have stayed. That's what they're gonna say. Because it's gonna be a blow to cloud gaming. Secondly, and I hate to say this, Google has now officially, listen to me, Google, this is a fuck up of epic proportions. Here's why. You have now defiled yourself to one of the heaviest, most staunchest consumer sectors, technology-wise, out there. Like, I know a lot of people across the board, you know, fed to kill by Google. And granted, do I have to say this? God damn it. God damn it. Do I have to say this? As much of an asshole and a dumbass as the kill by Google guy is and how wrong he was on a lot of shit, it appears that letter that he got, that we lambasted him on, the centrifuge around it was false, but the core of it was true. And I think what the person did that leaked it to him is they purposely put some bullshit in there to separate themselves from being caught. Because there is no convention that would have been held that explained that. But it appears like there was a senior meeting that occurred. There was a senior meeting that occurred that announced this. Maybe they superficially changed the date from the end of the summer to the end of the summer when it was supposed to be January, or maybe on the release of this letter, Google then changed the date that they were going to do it. Who knows? But that letter, and I know people are clipping this, they're snapping this shit. That letter that he got, that I was one of the people that lambasted him on, seems like that there was some meat to it, and maybe it was fluffed around the edges to keep people off their trail. Anywho, because that would have been a senior meeting. That would have been no fucking seminar where that was announced. That would have been a senior meeting. That being said, back to Google. And again, I'm saying this I just had a conversation with a good friend of mine. I was spending time with my buddy that I'm helping out with his business stuff, and we were on the phone, and there was some shit that he didn't have, and I was taking my mother somewhere, and my mother was sitting here as I'm talking to him. This has been a buddy of mine since I was 14, and my mother said, "Damn, why are you talking to him like that? I'd have kicked your ass if you'd." And I was like, "No, that's the type of friend that I am. I'm blunt, I'm straightforward, no bullshit." So Google, I'm not telling you this as some jaded gamer, because I got a PC, I got a PlayStation 5. As on the cloud, I mean, I got Luna. Luna did get that new Tales game, but you know, I I don't. We'll get to the cloud part later. Hold on. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. I got ways to game, but I'm telling you this as someone who has 25 plus years of Fortune 500 experience from a business perspective, but more importantly, from a gamer perspective. You know you done fucked up, don't you? You know you done fucked, like you fucked up. This was a horrible decision. I think from a business perspective, you ride that wave. I get it. I know the Fortune 500 world. I know it. The consumer is a catalyst for the investor. Didn't I always tell y'all that shit? And it's about getting that stock price to a certain realm, and investors love cuts. They love cuts. So trust me, I get it. But this is something that you had to stick with, unless it was horrible. In which, again, as we look at analyst projections and shit that analysts have been saying over and over again, I don't have all day. I just like dozens of analyst conversations and shit that I can show you. From what the analysts were saying, it was doing okay, as we expected. It was doing what we thought it was. So my thing is, Google, with you not really having any gaming footprint opposite of Google Play prior, you thinking that you can not only get into gaming, but then get into a way of gaming that was going to go through some very mellow times and very mellow milestones. If you thought that you were just going to hop in this and overshoot the projections, not do as well as console, but I don't even know how you were going to maintain that balancing act. You're either in it all the way, or you're in it with everybody else at the sub level. But you thought you were going to create this middle ground that no analyst has ever come up with, except for you, that you were going to create this middle ground and it was going to exist and you were going to be successful or else. Is that what you're telling me? So that raises questions about you and the leadership decision, while jading, officially. Now you have nobody's going to defend you on this field anymore. From one of the most critical underbellies of tech users out there. You know you done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up. Like, you literally need Bill Duke walking around the boardroom just saying that every 5 minutes. You fucked up severely. This was a horrible decision. And like I said, it has nothing to do with me gaming. I'll get into that later, or my content. Because oddly enough, I was just speaking to some people behind the scenes, and we were working on branching off to some other stuff. I had just told people, I said, look, the Stadia Dosage platform is good. People, I think I've run my course through it. I was just content creators I've talked to said, look, I'm passing the torch. We're going to do some, now we're going to expand and do some other stuff. And as you can see, I'm here with y'all. I'm talking with y'all, seeing all y'all funny comments. I love it. I love it. And I'm not distraught at all. It's video games. So I'm not saying this as someone who's angry, who's jaded. Y'all said y'all gonna refund people. Just give me my motherfucking money back. Just give it back. But I fucked up, man. Horrible decision. Horrible. Because now, like, it was one thing when Xbox dropped Mixer. When Xbox decided not to stick with Mixer, oh shit, they go J-Dub. God damn. Hold on, Jay. Where you at? There goes my brother J-Dub. It was one thing when Xbox decided to drop Mixer. Very disappointing. But that was an ends to a means. They had dropped Mixer because what they wanted to do when they had Mixer is they wanted an easy pipeline to 1 billion gamers, like how Facebook and Amazon has. Because look, once the theory is once they merge their game stream platform with their game cloud platform, you're done. It's as simple as, hey, I'm PewDiePie. You want to play Battlefield 3059 with me? All right. Long as you motherfuckers got Stadia, the first 5, I got Connect Stream or whatever the fuck it was called. Connect Stream codes. The first 5 motherfuckers that claim these codes get to play with me. So it breaks down that wall. That's what Phil Harrison and Moz Bacard were talking about in that interview with Richard Ledbetter with Eurogamer months before launch that I urge people to get to and read. We talk about that. Once that synergy occurred, they're at 1 billion gamers. Because who the fuck don't want to play games with, well, not me, but who do you know what I mean? I just mean in a broader. Who don't want to play games with PewDiePie? Or who don't want to be literally just be sitting there watching Ninja, and because you claim a code that he throws out in the chat and you do it first, that he or literally he just selects you out of the chat. If you go into a queue, you're literally playing games with him. That's their entry to 1 billion gamers right there. And as we know, Twitch is pretty much there because Twitch has a higher revenue. YouTube is getting close. YouTube is very close, but we know, I believe Twitch is over there. I don't have Twitch's official numbers, but that was, there's this coveted 1 billion gamers that are being talked about. That was the way there. And that's why Xbox wanted Mixer. Because they wanted that easy pipeline too, but they just couldn't get Mixer to be popular. So they cut Mixer. So as disappointing as that was, they didn't back away totally from cloud gaming. Mixer was just an ends to a means. They pivoted to using Game Pass then to carry xCloud into mainstream game. That's what they're using now. But you cut yourself off entirely from the retail gamer. And I know this sounds trivial. Like, why would a Fortune 500 person think about this? But this is the stigma that is stuck to them. And you made Killed by Google now the grand wizard of all infinite knowledge. Like, he's gonna unblock me and tweet me all fucking night now. I could just see it. You couldn't have made a worse. Like, when that memo came out from Killed by Google, I think that was your warning sign from the business gods to, you know what? Maybe let's wait at least another year to see how the load change porting, to see how we're adopting games. Once we've done the pivot, let's do that. No, they didn't even go that far. Horrible decision. Horrible decision. So, because now what they run the risk of is, if it's powered by immersive stream, like, this is what happens when you're not connected to mainstream gaming the way that you should be. And this is why I've often had to tell even my Stadia gamers. I remember at the end of 2020, there was this big powwow, this big whoop to do about Stadia not getting every single game for the holidays because people thought, Stadia gamers thought that this meant that Stadia was dropping an opportunity for them to compete with Xbox and PlayStation, and then that opportunity did not exist as a cloud platform. So I brought my brother Mansamu on. I don't know if Noah's in the chat. I brought Mansamu on. There you go. You hope so, motherfucker. I ain't done yet, but I brought 706 Gamer on. I just put him on the screen. Hold on. Y'all can't see him because I didn't add to, hold on one second. Let me add my source. Window capture, add source, H2. There we go. Adding. So I brought my brother Mansamu on. You remember that, Noah? And I said, Noah, can you please tell the Stadia community to chill the fuck out? Nobody is checking for cloud gaming right now. You got Xboxes, PlayStations, Xboxes series, PlayStation 5s coming out. You got 3090 cars, a 3000 series. There was no lane for cloud gaming at this moment to compete with cloud with Daddy device gaming. No, Noah remembers that. Brought him on to do that at the end of 2020. We did that. So I never overshot the moon as far as how they could compete. I've professed for a very long time it's a slow grind. What I was arguing for was the capabilities and how those capabilities for those that just were not mentally locked into Daddy device gaming, how those capabilities could benefit somebody that ain't got time to sit there and wait for downloads, ain't got time to be on Walmart.com fighting the bots for a console, ain't got time to be waiting for a midnight release, for all of that needs convenience and access to gaming without the price and all the friction with it. That there is a use case for those gamers, but those gamers only equal right now 1 to 3% of the population, but they're going to grow in staggers. But Google just essentially said, fuck it, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth to doing it in staggers. So is that going to have a ripple tide through all the cloud gaming? Because nobody's killing it in cloud gaming. Nobody's going to kill it for a while in cloud gaming. Like right now, we see the Logitech handheld and all these other cloud gaming handhelds. And I remember talking to some of my cloud gaming friends, and they were like, yeah, this is the B's G's. And I said, curb your enthusiasm. Stop it. Look at this thread. And everybody's like, this is the dumbest shit. No, man, what the fuck is it? Everybody's going off about it, right? Because it's just not there yet. Doesn't mean that I didn't believe in the capabilities, but you had to be realistic about its ability to compete. So it is the future, but the future is not tomorrow. I love that J-Dubs is back. Hey, J-Dub, you coming back on my stream is an honor, brother. And shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I hope all is well. I love you, good brother. But it is the future. Cloud gaming is the future. If Stadia would have stayed in the slow grind, they would have been the future too. They just said, fuck it, it ain't worth it. Which that was a horrible decision to make. So that's essentially what happened. Why did I even, and I talked about why I capped for it, because again, it wasn't the capabilities that were the problem. It was the low ceiling, and it was the, for Stadia's case, it was the need for games. And that's why the games weren't there the way people wanted them to be there, but they were working on methodologies. Really, the one methodology would have blown your mind. We'll talk about it one day, but I can't talk about it right now. The one methodology would have blown your fucking mind. Like, everybody would have been like, oh shit. Holy fuck. But again, this was the top brass decided this. The top brass aren't into gaming. So what you're going to have happen is you're going to have people that before, where it was a smart, and I feel sorry for Zolv Dimerick, who is in charge of promoting Immersive Stream. And he's the co-creator of Stadia. And I like Zoff. I like Zoff very much. He has very challenging tasks. I want to say earlier in the year when they were using immersive stream to try to help piggyback and bring attention to Stadia, to say, hey, look, when you play this Resident Evil stream on the Capcom website, this is the shit, ain't it? Yeah, this is great. That's what's powering that immersive stream, which is at the base level of Stadia. When that was the game plan at the beginning of the year, I said, that's genius. Let people play immersive stream, because what it was, people didn't even want to try Stadia. 99% of the people that were negative about the platform didn't even try. They didn't want to fucking touch it. So what they were doing is they were creating situations where you were touching it, playing it, saying, this is the shit. I can now demo Resident Evil Village directly from the website. And guess what? Oh, you're doing it because of Stadia, basically. Oh, really? Yeah. And then they work from that. That was the plan. Now, I even question if you want to let people know that it's powered by immersive stream, because Google's going to get lambasted. And we can tell if something's powered by immersive stream, especially a Stadia, a Stadia gamer. Especially a Stadia gamer, they can tell when they'll know when something's powered by immersive stream, and believe you me, they'll be out there with the megaphones speaking as such. So. So that's with them realizing that right now wasn't about SG&E, and it wasn't about your lousy performing SG&E games that weren't going to pull anybody in. Like, we had a lot of, again, that's why I said people that were sitting there talking about, oh, this is, if we saw this, no, we're like the same bunch that said the query would have changed everything for Stadia, because the query was a Stadia game, and they were arguing that the query was going to change everything for Stadia. It would have brought a lot of, no, the fuck it wasn't. Like the highest praise that the query I think could get was it was the most downloaded game on the PlayStation 5 the month that it released. It didn't release at number 1 nowhere. I think the highest it released was 4. And then after that first week or two, it fucking dropped out of the solar system. So if that's how gamers would have treated it on a dedicated device, I don't know what the fuck made people think that people were going to run to Stadia to play the query. And I always give this example too. Cyberpunk 2077 was a clear-cut example of how psychologically people just weren't having Stadia. Or cloud gaming at all. It was niche. There was something to subsidize your growth off of, but you weren't going to get extreme success. What was the tall tale sign? As we all know at launch, 40% of Cyberpunk 2077's sales were on consoles. Where the game looked like straight doo-doo and it performed like shit. And this is before the next gen upgrades, right? Everybody in your the only people that had a fathomable experience, the best experience was on a super high-end PC. We know that's only a minority of gamers, but 60% of the sales were on PC, but only a minority of gamers would have had like a fathomable experience with some little quirky bugs here and there, right? Except for Stadia. Stadia was the only other place where if you didn't have a high-end PC, yeah, you would get some quirky bugs here and there. I never really got any. But you could have a hell of a time playing the most anticipated game within 5 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, God of War was the most critically acclaimed game, but I'm talking about in anticipation. When God of War came, nobody fucking knew that God of War was going to be, before it released, nobody fucking knew that God of War was going to be that impactful. But since Cyberpunk's been marketed, since 2013? So you might as well say almost 7 years since it was revealed. Like, that was the most anticipated game out there. Everybody and their grandmammy wanted to play that game. You had everybody, people that was shitting on Stadia, dogging Stadia, telling you it's worth playing Cyberpunk 2077 there. What happened when they were asked about how much of that portion was on Stadia? Y'all know what happened. Now, we argued here, and I still stand behind it, that a lot of that scoffing was because the Google NDAs are atrocious. And I've talked to developers, and they they're not fucking around. Like, they'll bull you and skin you alive and shit. Like, their shit is crazy. So they couldn't talk about that part. But I think some of that was like, it might have been okay, but it wasn't substantial. One of the most anticipated games, up to 7 years prior to launch, everybody told you, if you don't have a high power PC, get it on Stadia. And motherfuckers said no. They said, no, I don't want to do it. That lets you know the psychology of cloud gaming. That lets you know the psychology towards cloud gaming and why it's going to be a slow burn. I showed you the numbers. Do I got to do it again? Let's do it again. I'll show you the numbers from NASDAQ. This is not Johnny and them's chicken shack. Look at that. That's NASDAQ. You heard of them? Even in 2025, where overall gaming is going to reach 257 billion, cloud gaming is projected to only be 7 billion 2 years after that. It's a slow grind. And Google essentially said, who had one of the loudest mouths about cloud gaming and one of the boldest approaches, they essentially said, fuck it, it's not worth it. Cloud gamers aren't going to appreciate that. Stadia is going to get lambasted. By attrition, I'm going to get lambasted for a while, and it is what it is. It's only gaming, baby. What did Red Man say? It's only blank, baby. It's only gaming, baby. It's cool. Guess what? I just get some lambasting online. Google, this is going to have long-term ramifications on potential customers, vital customers, when it comes to the tech sector. Again, Q Bill Duke. You know you done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up. Very poor decision to be made. Like I said, at the very least, again, and I know this ain't going to be popular with a lot of my Stadia friends. A lot of us in the community, again, believed in this platform and felt like that if they would have just grinded it out with it, like the way everybody else has to, they would have seen the success that's going to blossom, you know, at the end of this trail. But as the business person inside of me says, okay, if you have to get that lean and mean, this is not the thing that you cut just yet. Give it a year. Give it a year and see if there's progress with the low change porting, because that's going to be the tall tale sign. Let the low change porting finalize its relevancy and then see what happens. If people ain't with it, they ain't having it, then okay, fuck it. We're still doing a stupid thing, but we gave this a chance. You didn't even give it a chance. So, all right. So what does that mean now? I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go to the comments because I got to get out of here in like 15 minutes. What does this say now for my personal selection in gaming? Well, I got my PlayStation 5 and my PC. I love the comfortability of cloud gaming. Like, it was so convenient. And especially when I'm streaming, it was so light on the resources to where I was doing crazy shit like streaming in 4K to Stadia while I'm streaming 1080p 60 to Twitch at the same damn time. And my shit just looking crispy on both. Just having low resources and having more money in my pocket because I ain't buying hard drives and all this silly shit to game. And I'm not sitting there waiting for like if I'm like shit, I only got 45 minutes, it's boop boop, get on the game. There is no downloading. There is no you keep it in low power mode. No, because I'm an adult here. I'm not on. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna fuck with some people's situations is dire and I get it, but I got to pay for all my bills. Nothing gets subsidized here. Okay, I'm in a higher tax, but I got to pay for my shit. All right, so my bills can't be exuberantly high as they were. And I remember putting my Xbox and my PlayStation in those modes before my wife started cracking down on shit. And when I took them out of those modes, my light bill went down significantly. It was like almost cut in half. I said, oh shit. Can't keep doing this shit. So, it's just one of those situations where, I gotta lean back on them. People say, well, why don't you go to GFN? GFN is $20 a month for the tier that I would use. The other two tiers are irrelevant to me. I wouldn't use the priority tier or the free tier. I'm not waiting in no fucking queues to game for just an hour. I would use the 3080 tier. I've had the 3080 tier. It wasn't worth the $20 a month to me. It wasn't. Because as great as the output was in certain parameters, it cut down. It just wasn't price efficient for me, and it cut down on convenience too much for me. Like I go from upstairs, and then when I gotta go downstairs, like there's times I'm cooking my wife dinner and shit like that, or doing certain things, and I game all over the house. With Stadia, it was just like boop, boop, boop. I could take it from my PC to my phone to the flat screen downstairs. That with the 3080 tier, now I gotta go buy a Nividia Shield in order for me to get the full nuance of what that tier offers, because unless you're playing on a PC, the Nividia Shield is the only way that I can get the 4K and all the ultra textures and all the other stuff. That's another $200. That defeats the purpose of cloud gaming to me. I might well buy a fucking motherfucking console. Just like that cloud gaming handheld to me defeats the purpose. What the fuck? Why wouldn't I just use my phone or get a Steam Deck? That don't make any fucking sense to me. So as great as Geforce now is, I think it's geared more towards those hardcore gamers that can't afford a powerful rig. It doesn't have the atypical convenience which attached me to cloud gaming, but I have a powerful rig. I got a 3070, my shit's decked out, I'm good to go. So it defeats the purpose for me. So cloud gaming for me may be at a minimal. Once Stadia officially they've pulled the plug, maybe at a minimal, except for Luna. Now, are we gonna change this to Luna Dosage? Again, my thoughts on Luna is I think now Luna Luna, they've been dealt a bad hand because of how this is going to put a black eye on cloud gaming. But if they stick with it, Luna's going to really, have something to offer. And they're really taking their time. They're not overshooting the moon on anything. They're just taking their sweet old time. Now Luna is going to hopefully they pick up some of the better cues from Stadia, the things that Stadia was doing. They pick up on those, they integrate those, because the technology, as far as the performance of the technologies, they were very similar. So hopefully, Luna can get the games. Maybe they can get into a la carte purchases as well, instead of just being these subscription things, you know what I mean? Because that's going to affect your price as well. But we'll see what Luna does. A plus side for Luna is they do have access to Ubisoft Plus. That's great. For my Division needs, if Luna fucking gets 4K, all right, then that's where the majority of my cloud gaming is going to be, is Luna. Luna gets 4K. This I think this is the thing to prompt them to do 4K. You know what I mean? So, all right, with that said, let's go. Now we're going into the pit. We're going into the fiery pit. Let's see what you punk motherfuckers got to say. Punk motherfuckers. Oh, here goes Rome. Mars, what the fuck you got to say, Mars? No. Shout out to Rome. He says, Mars, you know damn well I've been saying it. Saying what? Chat is on fire, bruh. Yeah, I know. Shout out to my homie Sanchez. Good to see you. CMG says, I'm actually pretty all right with it, unfortunately. Oh, well, it was good while it lasted. I mean, I hate to say it again, not to diminish those that are more profoundly upset about this, as you should be. Take it out on Google. Fuck them. Because they basically said, fuck you. Take it out on Google. Fuck them. And not the Stadia people. I'm not talking about the Stadia people have been fantastic. I love you guys. You guys have been so great. The conversations that I have had, you guys are the best. And I feel for them. I feel for the Stadia people because they were blindsided. The entire Stadia staff was blindsided by this, opposite of Phil Harrison. The entire Stadia staff was blind. So I love you guys. You guys were fantastic. It was great. Just hearing you break down the platform, seeing your passion, and Shaka, shout out to Shaka. Love Shaka. She was a great addition. She made news. She was about, they were going to be stewards of change. They were really going to do some great things. It's a shame that the great stuff that they were about to do will not come to fruition. They were about to do some great things, y'all. Stadia community too, for cloud gamers and general gamers too. Like, I think it would have there's one thing in particular that I'm thinking about, can't talk about it yet, but there was one thing in particular that they were about to do that I think would even caught the eye of some regular gamers. They would have said, oh shit, holy fuck, yeah, it was about to be serious, and they just said fuck it. So I'm not saying fuck Stadia. I love the Stadia community. Love you guys. Google is the one, or Alphabet. Because Alphabet would have had to approve this. After approving the load change porting, then they said, fuck them. But they would have said, fuck you. But it's Google relative, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They would have approved this, but they're the ones that said fuck you. So if you're upset, let them know. And send Bill Duke. You know you done fucked up, right? No, you done fucked up. I know. Well, Sanchez, they were just taking it slow. Like, for instance, Luna hasn't added a bunch of decent titles. They were taking it slow. Because they realize, again, we're looking at NASDAQ here. It's a 1% business. It's not sustainable to get every single fucking AAA out there and spend $30 to $40 million, $50 million to get them on your platform if only 1% of the gaming populace is gonna go there. It makes sense if you're plugged into the 60, 70% console or whatever, the higher end percentages, but it don't make sense for a 1% business. So they had to pick and choose their selections. So I wouldn't say that was, again, if you knew what I knew, you would know that the signs weren't relevant then. I think the biggest indicator that I can't fucking believe it. I know this, hey yo, killed by Google, whatever his name is, Jeffrey Gigglygook, whatever the fuck your name is, dude, let's call a truce, let's talk it out. We could do a podcast, whatever. I mean, you still a dumb fuck, but let's talk it because you talk a lot of dumb shit. But let's talk it out because it wasn't you so much than the person that sent that to you. You know what I mean? So we can get some information on that. That'd be great. But Charlie Babbitt, whatever the fuck his name is, let's talk, bro. Let's talk. Come on. Hey, yo, Rome, stop it. Stop, Rome. Rome, what's your motherfucking problem, Rome? What is your motherfucking... Rome, stop it. R.I.P. Coolio and Stadia. Shout out to my brother, Rome. Rome has been pulling my chain for a long time. Good to see my good brother, Rome. He says, Paul Games says, Google's focus shifted during implementation. They didn't go all in and take advantage of the hype of the beta. No. Again, we got to go back to... Here, let me read something to y'all. Because again, it's not about saving face. Look, I love the Stadia people. I love them, but the sector's being dissolved. So there's no need to save face for them. I'm not a Googleite. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck about Google. Fuck them. Fuck them motherfucker. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saving face for them. But it's always good to know what happened, right? Always good to, because if you don't know your history, you're not prone. I mean, you make yourself prone to fail from it again. So here, let me show you guys something. Why it's not that. That was the issue. Here it goes right here. What time is it? All right. This is the big interview. Phil Harrison and Maj Bakar on Google Stadia. I'm gonna drop this shit in the chat for y'all. I'm gonna pin it too. Read this. Only got a few more minutes and I gotta go pick up my wife. Pin message. All right. So read that. Y'all need to read that all the way fucking through. Like, even the on live issue, I went back and I started reading that, so I knew what the hell would happen there. But here, let me see if I can find that part. Hold on, what the fudge? I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Why can you? Damn, that was weird. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna read this to y'all real quick. This is from, okay, so listen to this. Phil here, he's being questioned by Richard Ledbetter on, the YouTube integration, but this is after he was hammered about, well, what about how you're going to compete with PlayStation and Xbox? This is what Phil Harrison had to say. And this was the Stadia vision. Our platform engages deeply with YouTube technology, but actually takes a step back. Think of gaming today. There are really two discrete universes that coexist. There are people who play games and there are people who watch games. Now, mind you, this is from May 2019. There are people that play games and people that watch games. In 2018, there were 50 billion hours. There were 200 million people watching games on YouTube every day. In 2018, there were 50 billion hours of watch time of game content. And just unpack that mentally for a second in terms of our vision for our platform. It's to converge those two worlds. It's to converge those two worlds together so that you can be watching a game, click, and playing a game, and vice versa. It even goes down to what we call the platform. He continues, it's not a game system. It's not a console. Contrary to rumors, we are not entering the console business at all. Actually, the point of our platform is that we are not a console. It's a place to gather. It's about marketing a device or being device-centric in our thinking. It's not about, marketing a device or being device-centric in our thinking. We're not making a box. We're making a place. It's a place where you can have different types of game experiences, whether you're watching, playing, participating, whether you're being entertained or whether you're the one doing the entertaining. All that being joined together into one idea, very inclusive. Hopefully over time expanding to include the broad set of gamers that we can possibly imagine today, scaling the future and supporting every type of game, from input modulities to fundamental game types and styles that you can experience. So this has nothing to do with a strategy that was trying to run parallel to Daddy device gaming. They got into this because they saw the potential that cloud gaming has 5, 10, 15, even 15 years from now. And they said, if we can get a gaming space together to where our YouTube integration and our cloud gaming integration is one, we're going to kill this shit. We just got to get there. So there's other interviews opposite of this where they talk about what they plan to get there. There's two specific demographics they were looking to focus on, and it wasn't the general gamer. They said, look, we understand this is not for everybody. This is for gamers that have been disenfranchised from gaming because they don't have the money to do it on a regular basis via a Daddy device, or they don't have the time, or those that want to utilize our technology, that are like technology buffs. That's it. And we recognize this is a small portion of the market. They say that in other interviews. Let me show you one more thing, and I'm gonna go back to the chat, and then I gotta roll out of here. I might throw another 10 minutes in here because it's only gonna take me 20 minutes to go where I gotta go. Let me see, one more. Here we go. This is from the head of games at the time, Jack Buser, who said, how do you convince an audience that's already built up a games library, friendship online, or shift to your platform as opposed to the ones they've spent? So again, this is another question from somebody to asking, on a platform level, on a console level, rather, how are you going to compete with Xbox and PlayStation? And this is what they said. Again, this is another interview done in May 2019. Jack Buser said, the same device you are using, talking about your console, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your PC, certainly has better and more rich game experiences. That will take time to play out because gamers will have to realize, oh my gosh, Stadia has improved so much from years ago. I can't believe I'm using the same screen. But that's the third piece. So again, they knew at this time it would take years to quote unquote compete or make this the very lucrative platform that gaming is in general. The thing is, Google just decided recently, they said, fuck it, the grind is not worth it. There's even another Google, and I did like a 4-hour podcast on this, it was crazy. There's even another Google interview where they talk about everything that's in our cloud business. We realize that we have a stigma. They even brought up Killed by Google. And they said in that interview, we are changing our ways. We are no longer going to decommission stuff like how we used to. Like, even if it's stuff that people cherish and stuff that people love and people are enjoying, even if we're no longer supporting it, it's still going to exist for those people in some shape, form, or fashion. Now, some people may say immersive. No, not immersive. So even if they were to no longer support Stadia, you're basically saying that you're not going to close it up in January and refund This was their business plan that they were putting into effect January 2021. Now in 2022, they changed it. Now, I have always said, I cannot guarantee, and my followers know this. I said, I can't guarantee that Stadia is going to be around forever. I doubt that they're going to close it because of all the stuff that I see. But they could make a decision tomorrow that we're shutting it down. And it looks like that's what happened. They made the decision to shut it down. I think they made it foolishly. I think and not foolishly because I really like Stadia. I mean, yeah, of course I'm going to say that personally, but I mean from a business level. They made it foolishly because they just was out here last year and they made a promise to people that they weren't going to do this type of shit anymore, and they did it. Q Bill Duke, you know you done fucked up, right? I got to get me a soundboard. I'm going to start playing that. You know you done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up. They fucked up. They fucked up. This isn't today, because all it means is a 1% business isn't around in the general scope of gaming. But long term, this is a fuck up. This is definitely a fuck up. The man from Uncle says, just accept the L, MM2K, they lied. What do you mean? That's what I just said. I said that they spoke to the consumers and they said, this is not what we're going to do anymore. And they did it. So Google just fucked up. They did lie. But it wasn't a lie in 2021. It's just that they looked at it more recently as they were making these cuts and they said, you know what, fuck it. We don't want to do this anymore. Again, that now, to be fair and to extenuate on the man from Uncle's point, I'm saying that with 70% certainty. I can't say that with 100%, but I'm saying that with all the shit that's coming my way and hitting and you keep hearing me banging because I'm checking my phone because it's buzzing literally. It's been buzzing every 60 seconds. Like since 20 minutes before I went live. And I ignored it at first and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? And then I saw that, so. All right. So, and then the last piece is my content. Well, I'm going to continue to stream Division 2 on Twitch. I'm going to talk to Jack. Me and Jack are going to have a conversation about Stadia Dosage and things like that. I haven't talked to Jack yet. Me and Jack are going to have a conversation, see how we're going to handle that. And I wanted to do this blunt, unfiltered conversation here for everybody that's been following me, for those, of course, that wanted to get their rocks off. MM2K, Steve, motherfucker. for y'all to get y'all rocks off and shit. And look, I get it. It's part of the game. When you sit there and you back a notion and the notion is wrong, I'm a firm believer in standing there and taking the cabbage and the rotten tomatoes. I ain't running from shit. Well, I mean, again, this is gaming. But like I said, it's always important when things don't happen when things happen that you don't want to happen, it's always important to me to know why they happen. So I wanted to discuss that with facts, with information, and go over that at mass. What I'm going to do from here on out, though, is any further communication about Stadia, because it's no longer a factor in gaming, unfortunately, at all. So there's no point to even bring this shit back to this channel. So y'all ain't got to worry about me talking about Stadia here anymore. But I'm not done talking about Stadia. We will continue. There's going to be some more content coming to Stadia Dosage. Till when, again, I got to talk to Jack. Me and Jack will sit down. We'll figure that out. I'm still going to stream Division 2 on Twitch and on maybe Stadia Dosage streams. We don't know. I don't know what's going to, but I'm still going to stream it at least on Twitch. And we'll see where things go from there. Because it's going to be more about the games than the actual platform itself. So... Storm just came in here. He says, where we playing now is the question. Yeah, PC and PlayStation 5, I can see right now. If Luna gets 4K, Storm, and they can do that 4K 60, right? With the Ubisoft games, then yeah. Then my money would be with them, even though the rest of their catalog to me doesn't appeal at all. Like there are no games, like there's games I can go in, you know, I still love Borderlands. There's a variety of games on what's it called that I love playing, and not so much on Luna. They really don't catch my interest except for the Ubisoft games. But that's what I play most of the time anyway, so, you know, that's the only thing I would have to look forward to. So that's going to be, so it's for cloud, potentially Luna if they can get up to 4K. But right now it's going to be PlayStation 5 and PC. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, it is what it is. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got to go pick up my wife. I appreciate and love all of y'all. Again, I wanted to put this out here at mass for everybody. My son's still trolling me. He's an ignorant motherfucker. This dude is ignorant as hell. Hey, Shogun, chill out. Be easy on Pops. He's an ignorant motherfucker. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Thank you, Stadians. And this is what I want to do. I want to do this here. Shout out to the great Stadia Dosage team. Again, we're still going to figure out what's going to happen. But shout out to Tyler, Jack Deslip, Eddie Rick, oh my gosh, Audria, who else? Simon Roadhouse. Who else we got up in here? I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. My homie, Daryl Smock Jr., my brother Peter Cottontail. Who else? Did I forget anybody? If I forgot anybody, I deeply apologize. Oh, Craig Petter. How can I forget Petter? Petter Gaming. Shout out to, and everybody that was supporting the platform with their own content. Shout out to the homie, oh, Jesus Christ. Why am I having a brain fart? Because I'm scared of my wife. Because I get, God damn it, Squid's Gaming with Chill Times with Squid. SPG, thank you for the fantastic show. CGR, Cloudy Game Reviews. But at least, hey, look, both of y'all, regardless of what happens with Stadia Dosage, both of y'all have very powerful shows now that you can now take to your platforms. And if you're following Stadia Dosage, I urge you guys to go follow Cloud, SPG, Main Games, motherfucking my homie Lo-Fi Monk, goddamn Purple Haze, Jeff, my homie Jeff G, Stadia Pro Gaming. You know, you just gonna have to change the name SPG. And who did I forget? I know I forgot somebody. I think I got everybody. If I forgot anybody, I deeply apologize. Shout out to Rudik. Shout out to everybody that supported the platform to help us do great things. We were doing greatthings.com. We provided a great platform for everybody to, you know, kind of be like Pittsburgh Access now. You know, I mean, not Pittsburgh, public access. You know what I'm saying? And we were looking to do great things, but we'll see how things go. We don't know what we'll come up with next, but we'll see. So with all that said, I appreciate and love everybody. Oh, and Cold Blood Sensei, his punk ass. This punk ass motherfucker. No, this is my bro. Look, I'm telling y'all. Cold Blood Sensei, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna be on Twitch. I'm gonna let you know when I'm live on Twitch. We gonna rap. I know you got a lot of shit to talk, but this is my motherfucking bro. It almost brings now that this right here brings me to tears because Cold Blood Sensei, like, before I was even on the Stadia, remember Cold Blood? And I was sitting there streaming and I was trying to get 60 frames per second because I had that punk ass 2070 that had a bug in it, had a glitch in it. And Cold Blood's like, he's like, Mars, he's like, calm the fuck down, bro. It's gonna be okay. I'm like, no, man, I can't get it. And I found Stadia and it rescinded all my problems with trying to game in 60 frames per second because I was doing it through the browser. And I remember Cold Blood was dogging me out. Why are you dealing with that punk ass Stadia? That thing is a piece of shit. But he always supported me, bro. Always supported me. He never dropped his support. And even when Stadia content creators weren't dealing with anybody dogging the platform, they were banning motherfuckers in the chat and all that shit. I said, no, y'all gotta let Cold Blood rock. Y'all gotta let Amlinar rock. Like, I don't do that. We you know, criticisms is fine. We gonna rock out. And shout out to my brother, Cold Blood Sensei. What was our bet, Nethos? What was our bet? I know we made a bet. I thought it was 2021. You gotta find it, bro. I don't trust you. I don't trust you, motherfucker. Find the motherfucker. Find the passage, and we'll see. I want to see our bet. Yeah, Collins. It is what it is, bro. All right, I got to get out of here. I'm going to do more conversations once I get more information and I can soundly talk about more stuff over at Stadia Dosage. So check it out, stadiadosage.com. But I wanted to come over here to where the Masters was going to be at so y'all can get y'all rocks off. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. Yeah, Cold Blood says I remember every single moment of it. New Bethesda games on Stadia? Yeah, you gotta find out one. I don't think we made a bet. I think I was just talking shit. What my bro Nethos was talking about is we was in the DMs, and I said, watch new Bethesda games come to Stadia. I was just talking shit. You know, damn, but I knew that from when they wouldn't put motherfucking Elder Scrolls at higher than 30 frames. I knew that. I don't think we made an official bet. You have to find that text, brother. See, I'm very slick with my words, brother. You gotta find that text. But shout out to everybody. I gotta go pick up my wife. She whooped my ass. But I know that's what you said, Nethos, but I don't think we put like, you know, I bet you $100. I think I was just shit talking. So, all right, but if you find it, I'll honor it. I'll get you a bag of pretzels and some Chico sticks. All right, with that said, I gotta get out of here, everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much for the support. Even the haters. Love you too, baby. Guess who's coming to dinner? It ain't over yet. We ain't going I'm not going nowhere. It's just Stadia. You got to take that up with Google. All right, with that said, peace to everybody. Y'all have a wonderful game.